What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So we're back at home, and I'm finding a case. I have to, and I'd be advocating for punitive castration because the little protection that they said they'll give me was also a fake. There was nothing like that. They said that for 15 days, just eat those grains of rice that we gave you by adding to the meals, and in a way, they said, fight us however you can. And we'd be chanting on mantras and everything and stuff like that. But I'm murderous over it. And fourth, I'm seeing my lawyer tomorrow. She's become my therapist now. And we're gonna file a case. And let's see, what am I entitled to out of the case? There's a lot going on in the head about how much am I gonna perceive in the name of violence now within the body, because it's still the same. Choking up, numbness in the legs, working out, and feeling anxiety of more than two people inside, memory blockage, blanket over the work I'm supposed to do, and almost everything that's required to be as normal as to my narrations, and then this. So yeah, I have no other option but to beyond getting these men arrested as well, apart from putting them into the jail, apply for a punitive castration or apply for a death through cardiac arrest, because these men, they don't seem to be normal or sane enough to be understanding the immediate extraction from their own obsession to be off me, because the more they cling on to me in any manner, the more it gets tough for me to be silent about it and have the entirety that is invisible to us, or probably subconscious to us, exposing itself to me, that there are stern guards for you that you cannot see. And in case you really believe that evil is higher than the good, no matter the tangent in terms of tangibility and visibility, then go a little more deeper with meditation. And every time the pain this time comes in, see what happens the other side, and you'll start seeing the suffering that they bear over every sense of pain during meditation, if at all, like a spike you go through. So that is something that I'm a little counting on, apart from all the aggressive measures that I'm going to be taking here to these men in the faces, and having them be exposing themselves to the public without any kind of fear, inertia to be expecting some demonic sense of being within the white sheets, and pretend to be the cult consequence of not adhering to the God's law, which, if at all, turns out to be a shame of an existence in the name of conversion therapy through any kind of perspective that beholds homophobia as some kind of beauty, or as some kind of devotion or compassion or sacrifice to the higher powers in the name of attaining nirvana of any kind, then God forbid such beings the actual wrath of the actual God for not realizing how it actually works in the name of nature of law, if at all it comes down to being judging or questioning the nature, and henceforth the law of nature. Right? So, just that, and beyond that, I've been hallucinating on this man crying at different corners, throughout my journey, from the temple until coming back over here. And it did feel like as if somebody opened the portal where they were using the spirits from and calling themselves a purposeful, functional body like a temple, where they assign those that spirit theft. They assign those stolen spirits to humans and be like, whatever kind of work you need to be doing, these spirits will go with that particular person, destroy some of their peace, and have them be anxiety driven about you. And then when you come face to face over your problem, they'll get a clearance from their particular problem only when you go on to be, only when they help you out of that misery or your problem. So that is something that is kind of like, this is what it felt like. And henceforth, since the portal is open, since I was suffering in and out and I could have died any time, and the cops were stupid, the cops were traveling without the guns and the handcuffs over my account. And then when they reached over there and they saw me howling my lungs out over how immoral every one of you here is, they kind of left the scene. They fled the scene. So it's just it's so like, I don't know what to say. It's just shameful, right? So yeah, that particular portal that's open, it feels like the invisible guards that actually put such people, or my must have been my ancestral spirits. I don't want to take any names in terms of my ancestors because I've been so out of the line throughout these 10 years in the names of obesity and in the name of belief system, in the name of spiritual practices that I know such demons actually extract out of your life. How and when. I've been so out of order against all of those principles that I just don't, want to talk about which ancestors have been, guarding me and stuff. But all I know is that since the portals are open, and since I've seen these two men and many such, guilty driven sitting here and there on the corner, all my way from the temple, from the martial house, crying in corners, and are guilt ridden and are guilty conscious, obviously, and are helpless over the fact that I'm taking such measures and all that in the name of money and everything, and money as in like compensation. And because every time I'm thinking of what all punishments can be done, the only thing that rings in my head is them thinking that please take the money, but don't kill us. And every time I think of the money, every time that sound not sound sorry every time that sense of money being given to me comes in, whenever it comes in, no matter what the law says, it feels like I've been raped and I'm being given money. My parents are being given money for a failed conversion therapy, and I feel like a freaking slut. That there you go, we raped her, now take the money, but don't kill us. And because we are religion driven, we are patriarchal. For us, women are meant to be toyed around, and forget being toyed around and shit, but a female body for a male body is only a glory hole or nothing else. And they kind of like fucking destroys me in and out, and henceforth I don't need anything else less than a punitive castration, because it's still stuck in my body. I'm still half choked. I've been drinking since I've been back home to relieve all the pain and all of that, and it's just stupid to be sleeping for the same number of hours to relieve myself and find myself all blocked and empty every time I sit in front of the screen and work on my scripts and work on the things for the narration to prepare all of that. Yeah, and bearing the anxieties of those 4 5 heads, and just waiting to like be on some synthetics and on some deep sleep to completely be off all of this that I am victim to at the moment. So just that, and it's no and this whole thing of playing the victim card and stuff. It's just so murderous as a thought that I have no. Forget the energy. I have no intent to, um, you know, lash myself out of it as some kind of an argument to the kind of politics that the country has been a victim to. I'm not very well. I'm not a movie. I mean, I wouldn't say anything. I was just, I don't know. I just can't anymore. Like, neither do I want to put this in any kind of a political tangent, nor do I want to put this in any kind of, label. Neither do I want to talk about what is, how is fascism basically being discovered in this particular road trip. Because if at all I wanted to be fancy about my pain in any manner and glorify the consequences of it on the other, while watching me making abs over it rather, or romanticize the journey, the heroic journey that I'm still alive, in whatever manner for that matter. If at all I was to talk about that, then I would rather just bestow a sense of silence on them by beheading them alive on camera and not even be expecting too much of a drama over it, just because everybody knows that the kind of or the nature of violence that they've conducted. If at all it was happening in someone else, then if at all anybody for that matter would have been a problem to this, and be it under the broad daylight while walking to someone on the stranger on the road and stuff, people would forget everything and get down to being an assistant to that particular and help the person relieve the pain from themselves, right? But in this situation, everybody in the temple yesterday who was also unknown to my pain will and is going to be a witness and a victim to everything, every moment of pain that I that I was that I was accountable to or responsible for. Responsible? What kind of responsibility? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, he's gonna be under the radar for it. There are pictures. There's a video of me. Everything that's going on. And I'll tell you what. I got to relieve myself in the temple for the first time yesterday, after a very long time. And how it happened, I opened up my camera and I started talking about the kind of wild. I was so aggressive inside, and there were so many people. There was a there was a hell of a crowd, and I had my bat on myself, and I wanted to, and I sat down for the jhara. Okay, after waiting for over like an hour because of the crowd, I sat down, and I said that I need that one little, I need that little protection that you were talking about. So the other priest on the left side, not the chief priest, he said that I think that little pocket full of rice that we gave you, I think we should follow just that as a diet and not the protection club thing that we were talking about. And that should be enough for this extraction process and everything. And that kind of like screwed my fucking head up. I was so aggressive over it. Obviously, anybody would, right? I spent an entire 14, 15 hours in that condition, all dirty, unhygienic, infected, in that fucking city, away from the house, away from, my clean clothes, and some silence. And I was just really aggravated inside, of course, and I wanted to, I had the urge to beat the fuck out of the chief priest. I wanted to like use my bat on his head right then and there, no matter what, how many ever were around me, because I was so claustrophobic inside, suddenly in the body, that I just couldn't hold it. Obviously, I was angry. So I left the scene for a minute, and I went downstairs, and I opened up my camera, and I started talking about how angry I am to the screen. I started recording the video, and I basically was putting up another account of this satso, and it was a lie. So it would have just been added to everything that we are to my former lawyer, and we went down and I went down and I started talking about it, and I said that I feel very much violent also inside, and do feel like the moment I said that I do feel like, suddenly my root chakra, suddenly he left his grip on my root chakra, and I I had the pressure about I had a pressure to go to the loo, and I went to the loo and I relieved myself, and I was like, damn it. So it's real. If I actually touch him violently, he'd fuck off forever. Otherwise, earlier I was thinking that no matter how I destroy the shadow self stuck within me, with my words, with my actions, with my psychic abilities, if there are any psychic abilities, I don't know. This shadow self has been sucking everything, every little thing. It sucks everything. It just sucks. So that's what I'm saying. I haven't been able to practice my psychic abilities. I have been able to practice my psychic abilities to a certain sense when I was back in Bombay, and I used to meditate and I used to write a lot of scripts and stuff. I exploited. I wouldn't say exploited, but like I very hardly explored my abilities, and they were kind of working. But since I've been back in Delhi, and since, of course, house is a better setting, of course, right? It's more comfortable and all of that and stuff. And back there as well. But see, Delhi is your own city. You can be whatever the heck for that matter, anywhere around. So, Mumbai was also the same to me. It was like Delhi. Nobody cared. So, yeah. But, and the beach was such a daddy to me. Beach was the sugar daddy to me. Beach was the sugar daddy, the cougar, the garden, everything. Such beautiful thoughts, such beautiful dreams because of the beach. But the way it destroyed, everything yesterday, that I can't keep calm over the fact that I want to commit a murder. Because that's the answer. Give them the wrath, give them the actual, give them back the law of nature, and they'll be off it. They'll be off their obsession with narcissistic realities in the name of nirvana or attaining nirvana. Both of them, all four of those brothers. And last time, I think a couple of years back, when I remember I had seen their daughters. They're pretty. They're a little, they sound a little illiterate, but they're pretty. So when I had seen them last year, like a couple of years back, in 22, I guess, last 22, 23, I don't remember, 22, they had a glow on their faces. And that was the time that when I was advised by them to um, go for a financial investment in a particular project, and I lost 1,75,000. Then from then until yesterday, I saw them again, and I saw the daughters for the first. After such a long time, and they were not at all happy. Their eyes were super drowsy. They had gained weight. There was a darkness in them that was on their faces all the time, and they were so spiritually exhausted. It felt all of that, and that kind of you know, that kind of rung in my head as if something that I actually thought of and it manifested. I remember from 22 until now, there was a phase in my life when all the police, all the help that I was taking from the cops, over the scam and over the death threats and rape threats that I was getting, and all the application writing and all of that, all of these things were coming in. Um, I kept thinking that I kept thinking that um, you know um, whatever they've done to me, imagine happening all of that to their daughters, and imagining the daughters all unable to explain of why is it happening or how is it happening, or them putting all the all the efforts and all the powers that they can to save the daughters, and they're not coming back to normal. I never used to put my science to it. But I never used to put my conscience to it. I just used to be like, what? Imagine what. I used to talk to the shadow self back, and I used to be like, what if it happens to someone in your house and stuff? How would you fix it and stuff, stuff like that. And these words, no, just normal touching that point used to shut the shadow self completely in and out, and would post a point, have it be gone as well sometimes from the body, out of guilt. But now that it has crossed the borders of being guilty conscious, and now I can see it crying here and there and stuff like that. So that's a difference. That's a tragedy again to my eyes. Why do I have to see whatever? Why am I open to hell? Why do I see hell all the time? I don't want to see hell anymore. I am not sad over the fact that you're dying somewhere. I'm not in love. Neither was I ever in love. You're clinging to me. You're obsessed with me. That's your problem, not mine any which way. So yesterday when I saw the daughters, I felt a little sad. I was like, whatever your tangent with life might be, or whatever your politics with the world might be, for me, every time I see a woman in distress, I of course lose my freaking head because I am in the same body, right? So I don't have to say anything about it. Do I have to? I can't live without a woman's smile any day. So yeah, that kind of like, you know, that made me sad. No matter that they are on the wrong side to my life, but it just felt bad. So yeah, well, even if I have to think of them, I have no empathy or sympathy for these men, neither any pity. It's the law of karma. You get what you did. So just looking forward to the lawyer tomorrow. Let's see what she says. How much do we have to, go in and out about ourselves over it? And yeah, just that. Sad, right? I was expecting some little physical anecdote out of it, and what a waste of another day over it. Well, I somewhere had the feeling that it's going to be a lie, but I just wanted the lawyers to be very well aware of the fact that these are the measures, or these are the extents that they're actually trying to be pretending to be mindful over, and becoming something they don't really kind of like, understand the consequences of being pretending to be legit over. That's it. Alright, that's it. Thank you. Take care.